Yeah, it's gotta come all the way over here.
Oh,
Alright, we gotta get visitors back there too. You said it's over there too?
Yeah.
Alright, go ahead and call this July and June meeting to order. And welcome everybody here. Alright, it's time I open it with a word of prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for letting us be here tonight, dear Lord. The Lord asks you to be with each and every one around this table, lead, guide, and direct them as they make decisions for the county service, the Lord and the Lord. Thank you for the food. Please bless it and use it for nourishment of our bodies. Please forgive us where we fail you. In your Son Jesus Christ's holy name, pray. Amen.
Amen.
All right. Next, we got swearing in a commissioner. Okay, those of you that I handed a sheet just a few minutes ago, if you will, stand with me and raise your right hand. Your other hand. Your right hand. There you go. And what you got it where you can read it, but you're going to say I and then say your name and then just read the rest of it. I. You are properly sworn. Sign it and date it, and then I'll notarize it for you. And if you will, pass them up here to me. Move on to the election of new officers. At this time, I'll open the floor for nominations for chairman.
I nominate Clint.
Clint.
Justin McClellan.
Justin McClellan. Need to get a second on each one of them.
I second Clint.
Got a second on Clint, and a second on Justin.
I second Justin.
All right. Any other nominations? All right. Floor is closed for nomination. But I get a motion to close. Toby, James, second. All right. All in favor of Clint, raise your right hand. Raise them high. Well, all in favor of Justin? Clint, you look. Congratulations, Clint. Alright, come on, take over. Bring your name tag with you so they'll know who you are. While he's coming up, I want to thank everybody for supporting me over the last year. I hope you continue to support Clint. Keep up the good fight. Thank you.
Keep the riff-raff straight. Come on down here.
Next up on election of officers is the vice chair. Do we have a nomination for vice?
Justin McClellan.
We got a nomination for Justin. We got a second for Toby. We Anyone else? All in favor? Alright, welcome to vice, Justin. Alright, next is, secretary. Any nominations for secretary? I nominate Fred.
I'm sorry.
Anyone else?
There has been a rule change, Mr. Fred. If Sarah's not here, you do have to do the minute. Yeah, I know you do. Yeah, I know that.
Alright, all in favor?
Fred wanted to recount.
Alright, moving right along, can I get approval on the, June minute?
Make a motion.
Delete or remove this? You got a motion?
I'll second.
Alright, all in favor? Alright, we got approval of the minutes for tonight. The June the 5th meeting, I'm sorry, excuse me, for the June the 5th meeting.
Make a motion.
Take a second. Alright, all in favor? And citizen comments, sign up.
I didn't see anyone.
Alright, any of the citizens? Alright, so we don't have any comments for the citizens. Standing committee reports, stand up,
I haven't got any of those tonight.
moving tonight for all of them.
I didn't know the chairman rotated off, so.
Okay. Sounds good. Moving on to old business. Discussing current, fire rescue moving forward.
Mr. Chairman, the only thing that I would tell you is that same thing I told you last, and we talked about it again at the budget time. The McDonald Green piece that was recommended was approved in the budget, and it's approved to start in January. And that's how it sits right now, that's the only thing as far as the use on that.
Any discussion on the fire rescue moving forward?
When was it approved to move forward?
They got it in the budget for the McDonald Green Park to start in January. The additional captain position is actually funded for the whole year, but in conversation with the administrator, we're not gonna hire that position right off the bat. We'll probably be doing that as we move into the fall, as some of the other particulars get worked out. Part of what council, and I'll talk about this in the budget, so I'll expand on it later.
Anybody else? Alright. Any report on first due?
I had a hour and a half long Teams conversation with our representative at First Due. He advised me that on the 24th he finally got Marcus Puritan. Marcus Puritan is now the county GIS representative or responsible agent for Lancaster County. He left the city and come to the county. He got with him and he's getting the fire zones. Gonna try to rehash the hydrants again and the fire districts situated in First Due. They have not been fixed since the city annexed a lot of property. Fire zones wasn't in there at all. Also, he worked with me to figure out why we weren't getting dispatch type auto-populating. Sometimes it will, sometimes it won't. So he's gonna go put a ticket in for that. He did say they're still working with CAD. CAD, of course, y'all know CAD went down the other day. Not exactly sure it didn't have nothing to do with that connection, but they are still working with Tyler on that connection since the upgrade, making a more robust connection for information coming back and forth. We did turn on the EMS module, and then we had to turn it right back off. The reason we had to turn it back off is because we had to open up all the run reports that did not have a dispatch type in them, and some of them go way back in, to fix that. And when we did, Brian was getting hit with all this questions that we didn't have to answer before. So once we get caught up on the back end, and the reason we had to go back and do dispatch types, as he was on our teams meeting and he was running reports to see what it looked like, he seen 1,290 calls that were unclassified. When ISO comes and they asking for how many fire alarms, how many this, how many that we got, and you got all these 1,290 unclassifieds, and some of them were fire alarms. We had to get that corrected to be able to run a proper report. So, Tony and Julie's putting them in now as they doing reports, but this was previous, so Brian's task was going back and fixing all them. So once we get caught up, and also they're trying to figure out why the connection is not giving us our dispatch type. The only thing they can think of is possibly that it's not in there initially when the calls went out, or it was in there as a assist or whatever, and then they changed it to a fire alarm or unconscious or whatever. First View is not reaching back and grabbing that. Even if we can hit a button and refresh the CAD data, it's still not reaching back and getting that dispatch call type. So he's working on his end with the ticket to figure out why that's happening. The training, he is, I can tell you that between the city of Lancaster and Lancaster County, when people were signing off on this is complete, that's complete, there were some tickets that were closed out that should not have been closed out on the county side. And he's trying to figure out why, and that was one of the things that he said he would try to do when he first took over our account, is try to figure out, if I'm saying it's not done, but they're saying it's done, why? And then he looked back at two of them, 2 tickets, yesterday when I was on the call with him, and he could see that fact that he tied the dates back and he went back into the city's account, and then he could see that they closed out the ticket that we had on ours because they had done something for the city. He's made notes on all that and get that moving forward. A lot of people is calling in, which they need to tell me they're not, First View's not working. So as they call in, I'm getting that sent out. Hopefully in the next couple of days, I'll be able to get any land finished put in there, so I can get that going too on that side. But if you have any members that are not getting First View notifications on their phone, just tell them to call me. It only takes a few minutes. I can knock it out and be done with it. They can text me. I can fix it, and I can text them their whatever I need for them back and use it. I just done Donald Parker with Don Green a while ago because I seen him at Small Union Supply, and I was able to knock his out pretty quick and get it back to him. NARIS, since we not got it on the agenda, but it ties into First View. Please, if you're not a chief, talk to your chief. If you are chiefs, if you're having problems logging into NARIS and getting your account set up, let us know so we can get that taken care of. We have a list of numbers, fire department numbers, 29, 210, and 211, and all that. It's not going away. You still have the FDID number, but NARIS wise, it will be a totally different number. And he did say that they're still waiting on NARIS to give them information. Some of you know what I mean by 311, 110. All the fire in NIFRs, all the fires were under the 100s, right? 100s. Medical was all in 300s. So what
Which
they're
included
waiting
automobile
on,
accident. Which included automobile accident.
and what they're waiting on is NARIS to tell them what verbiage equalizes, just say 311 or 100 or 110. They need to know that verbiage so they can fix First View. So when we do reports, then we get the reports out correctly. So when we ISO or you do just start running statistics on how many first responder calls versus fire alarms versus actual fires, structure fires versus brush fires, things of that nature, we get actual valid reports. So he said they're still working on that, but our onboarding for Lancaster County, or the state of Midlands, the state of South Carolina, is now. So you should've got an email if you're the chief. If you think if you talk to your chiefs and they thought it was a bad email or a fraudulent email, tell them to contact us and we'll get them in contact with who they need to get in contact with, get that email back, because they're gonna have to have that email
Yeah,
for a temporary password
that's
to get in.
your initial login, and that's a temporary password, and we did not generate those emails, they come from State Fire, actually they come from NARIS, but State Fire provides the name and the email address to which that goes. So we were not involved in what email address they picked, so if in the fire portal, you've got a different email address than what we have in here,
That's the email.
that's where that email went to, is that, and if you got an email address that you hadn't kept active, or that you don't check, that's where that email's at. And so, again, we can put you in touch with the person at State Fire that's handling it to get you help, but it only went to the chief. I've had several assistant chiefs call me, a couple text me and say, well, I didn't get it, because I sent out the email to everybody, chiefs and assistant chiefs, to let you know that there should be an email, because it came that morning. A few of us in here went in and did what we could do to get familiarized with it. It's not that difficult, but there is some steps you gotta go through to get into it and make it work. So a few of y'all have already added us, a few stations have already added myself and Billy as administrators in your logins, and I appreciate that. There's others that we need that in everybody's, that way we can help get things going. The other thing about NARIS is you don't really need to worry about it, because you won't really be doing anything with it. You didn't do anything with entrance. It works in the back. That's the beauty of us having an RMS. We had Firehouse, now we'll have First Due. NARIS works in the back of First Due. We don't touch it. First Due does all the work for us. We can go to the NARIS website and pull our data if we want to run reports, but we can also run those same reports right out of First Due when we need to do that. I've had Mike Majette run me a few reports out of it already, although NARIS is not active yet. But I've had him run me a few reports, and First Due gives a huge amount of more information than I used to be able to get out of Firehouse when we run a query there. So there's a lot of advantages, and there's a lot more things that we'll be talking about in the future about First Due. And I'm gonna go into that again in the
Please don't mess with your maps and your district lines. That comes from a shapefile from GIS, so please don't go in there and mess with that. You'll mess up all kinds of stuff if you go in there and mess with that. We'll be checking them to make sure they're right, but that comes off the shapefile out of GIS. And that's all the report I got.
Billy, do you know if, like, a couple of my captains are chiefs in other districts, like in Chester and,
Chester should have been in the Midlands release, so they should be getting it right
so,
now.
and that's, I guess that's why one of my captains, he's a chief, he got his. Will it give him both options?
No.
Like when he puts the report in for ours, I guess
You
it
talking about First Due?
or wherever that Nippers or whatever you call it.
NARIS.
It should be linked to an email address. He should have, if he's the chief there, the chief here, he's gonna have two separate
Yeah,
logins.
he'll have a county email address here, so his
Yeah.
login here will be with his county email address.
Okay. So,
But he won't have a NARIS login here, you'll be the only one that has that.
okay.
It'll work in, he'll have a First Due
So
login.
they don't need it for the first due, but.
No, the only people that needs to be on there is the chief and me and Derek.
The admin.
And if you need like a backup or whatever
Yeah.
to yours.
You could do whoever wanted to get battalion chiefs for all three.
But I wouldn't put a bunch of people in there, cause all the reports that goes in there is gonna be coming out of First Due. And he says if we go in there and mess with that, it messes with that transition.
And the one thing about and I'll tell you, we took the class at the fire conference last week, before, last whatever, good class. Admin privileges will let you go in and do all kinds of, anybody with admin privileges can go in and delete somebody else. So you don't need to give anybody admin that you can't trust, or that you don't think is gonna be with you or whatever. So that's why that's why Billy was saying you don't wanna give a lot of people admin privileges, cause it's just the people that absolutely need to be able to make a change.
But if you do put him, say he was your backup or whatever, he has, just like if you go back there and look at mine, I have whatever people added and you select
Yeah.
what you're doing at that time.
Yeah,
Okay.
cause y'all all come up individually as you added us and Toby added us. I see Camp Creek, you're in there, actually it's Pleasant Valley, we gotta work on that, try to get it in Indian Land, either maybe Station 1, Station 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, but those two stations are still in there, so.
One more thing, can we get like I don't know, a list or something like, what if, I understand there's some reports that's not closed out or can't be closed out because of missing information. Is there anything we can do about that, or whatever, like if we go for a litmus test, we might not get files?
We can, but the main important thing is name, address, and date of birth. Right, so name, address, date of birth. Please get that information. It's going back to the SSG committee about the reports themselves, because there's more information, especially after we turn on the EMS module, it's a whole different information, and it will not let you complete that report and authorize it until that information's in there. So she's been sending emails back, and sometimes you could take some emails being rude, but they're just plainly asking for information to complete this report. Just saying we can't complete the report without it. And it's because we turned those new modules on. And plus, when we go to NARIS, it's gonna ask for the information anyway.
Billy, one of the things to stress with first due to NARIS is no personal information at all can go into the narrative. Because NARIS will actually pick it and then bump it back out to where you got to redo.
That was a point, I didn't think to make that, but yeah, don't put personal information in the narrative. We've all done that in the past sometimes.
Well, you have to do it in our Excel document to get the information to Julie and Tony right now. But in the future, when you're doing the NIFR report yourself, you'll have somewhere for that information to go. Just don't put it in the narrative. And where that goes in first due, it don't go to NARIS. So them modules for recording for our purposes does not go to NARIS. That's not the information that goes to NARIS. So it is as secure as anything else is, but that information, day of birth of that stuff does not go to NARIS. Address, things like that. It's just general information about the call. For the statistics is all.
On what you're talking about on the date of birth, I think it'll let you go without a date of birth, you gotta put the age in there.
Age.
And you can, sometimes we gotta guess, 3 of our calls was doing CPR on them, and we had,
And that's,
you're not gonna get it.
I'm gonna have another conference call for him and ask him,
Okay.
yeah, hey, what about these calls where the subject's unconscious in there, nobody else around?
Nope.
So,
Yeah,
we'll work on that.
we get several of them, so we just have to guess on close to the age.
Darren, I know y'all said y'all done a class down at the conference, would there be any type of class for us here?
Well, we're gonna have to do some training, there's no doubt, first G for sure when we start doing it. The thing about the NARIS and in the class that we went through there, it was primarily for chief officers to tell us, okay, the email's coming, here's sort of what you need to do and how you get in. And they did a run through. They didn't go into a huge amount of detail. Who was in that class with me?
They didn't do a lot of detail.
Billy was in it with me. They didn't do a whole lot of detail, but they basically, they showed us the regions of the state. I think the Midlands region was the last one to go to get implicated into the system. So now everybody in the state has gotten the email saying it's ready to set up. So like I said in my email to all of y'all, if you need help, give me a call. It won't take but a minute to walk you through it. It's not difficult on the part that we as chiefs have to do to get it ready to go and get it in. And do
We didn't
it.
have to do this for NIFR. I mean, NIFR,
No.
it used FDID numbers. The system was built and put through. They're just trying to make the system a little bit more robust and a whole lot more statistical base versus just data. Does that make sense?
And Mary's is gonna give a whole lot more data. The other thing is that the number for Lancaster County is 45057 is the way it starts out. Everybody starts out that way. And then there's 3 more digits that go to the fire department and alphabetized in the list. When you get your account, when your chief gets his account or her account, they'll be able to go in and look. You can see everyone in the state of South Carolina. You can see everyone in the United States. you have to set filters to just the state. There's not a county filter, so you filter by the state, and then you go alphabetically, and I just had to go through, I went and built Julie a list, so that she would have all the fire department IDs out of that. Your 2-9 numbers will not go away. I think that will still be used at the fire academy level from what I'm being told. And I don't think it's gonna change anything if you use that number with the Firefighters Association. Jeff Oswald's checking on that for me.
And I'm checking to make sure we can still use that number as our preempt to our incident number. Because if we change that and had to put that long number, everybody knows we got PID number. That way you go in first, yeah, this is the dog range report, I can click it and start my report. Vice versa, that 45, the number.
Yeah, the 45, the last 3 digits have no rhyme or reason that I can see yet.
Random generated.
Yeah, it is. I mean, the only thing that's common is 45057, and then there's 3 digits, and they're not sequential in any way, shape, or form that I can see. Because I look back at the alphabetization for the whole United States, and they're not sequential there. So I think he's right. I think it's just generated.
Clint, July the 17th, there's a virtual 6101. That's a nearest for the end user.
All chiefs probably got that email today. They changed the number. It was 6100, not 6101.
Yeah, and then 6202 is in December, and that's the admin class.
Any other
You
discussion?
do have to go on and register for that, to be able to get access to it.
Yes, academy course.
All right, moving right along, fire report summary.
Mr. Chairman, you got that in your packet, I think. Yeah, it's on the table. You got that on the table. People are working on it. Julie's working with them. It's frustrating for everybody, but we keep trudging along.
I'm assuming that you can, I know you said you're working on it,
Well,
notifying the chiefs. and
I don't call
stay
them.
on top.
I don't call them every month, but we've talked, and as I talk to the chiefs, yes, we're talking about it.
All right, moving right along to new business. Any discussion concerning the fire commission budget?
Mr. Chairman, I added a sheet tonight, which was a revision of the one I gave you last month, that shows what we requested, what the administrator recommended, with the difference there between what we asked for and what he gave us. Tonight, you have a sheet showing the 24-25 budget, which is finishing up this week and next week. And then the approved budget that was approved at third reading on Monday night of this week by County Council. And so you can see the changes there, and I want to go through it sort of line by line so that you'll understand it as to what's there. We did not get any extra money in travel and training. You can see the column to the right says change. There's a 0 there. But they did add a line item about mileage. So you all say, what's mileage? Well, when volunteers go on training and they go on their own, or the 3 that we send to the conference every year, when they go to the beach, I get on maps or some software that shows me the distance from that person's home to wherever we're sending them. The convention center was for the conference, and back home. That's mileage. And they're paid at the internal revenue rate of whatever mileage is. County generally sets it at the beginning of the year. I don't remember what it was right now, but they get that. And then I also always add in an extra 50 miles for travel time while they're at the beach. You know, people don't have to stay at the convention center. They go out to eat. They'll, may go, if they got, most time they're carrying their families with them or other friends with them. And so they'll go to some of the amusement. So we put an extra 50 miles in there, so that the person that goes down there should not have any extra expense unless they just go crazy driving. They shouldn't have any extra expense. That adds to what they get. They also get the per diem that the county pays, but that's $30 on a travel day and $40 on an overnight. If you've eaten out lately, you know that won't go very far, especially in Myrtle Beach. So if you haven't eaten in Myrtle Beach lately, a hot dog can cost you $21. I speak from experience. So you just got, and it wasn't a souped up hot dog either. But anyway, that's why that mileage has been added in there, because there are other county departments, not just for us, but there's other county departments that do not have county vehicles. When those of us in this office travel, we have a county vehicle that we drive, so we do not get mileage. The guys that work, they're either gonna be in a pool vehicle that we provide them, or they're gonna be in one of these county pickups. If it's been assigned to them, they'll go in that. I generally drive my own vehicle. Most people that know that. I don't get mileage from my own vehicle because I have an assigned truck. So I can't get mileage just because I decide I want to drive my own vehicle. So that's the way that works if anybody has a question about it. Supplies general, we got an extra 15,000 there. Equipment general, there's an extra 35,288. We did not get what we requested because it would have been a little over 400,000 if we had. But we did get some extra money, so we'll be figuring up what every department will get from this. You know, we always figure the total. We take out something for shipping and for sales tax, so that when you all get the catalog, all you have to do is worry about what you got there. And then we take care of the rest of it on this side in the office here. Protective clothing, you'll notice that 55145 is our school career center account, even though it says protective clothing. There were some things added in that account last year that should not have been there because it muddies it. So that 55,000, I'm sorry, the 55,000 that's in the approved budget this year puts that back at the right total for that line item. So the 18,777 technically is not a cut because there were things added in that line item last year that shouldn't have been there. So that 55,000 puts it back to where it's supposed to be. Now, we may get enough kids coming up that we have to actually go back to council and ask for more money for that account just because of turnout year, and that'll be a wonderful thing. I think they will probably support us when we go in there and ask for that. But that program's been very successful. Matter of fact, I think ours is probably, I'm prejudiced of course, but I think it might be the most successful program in the state of South Carolina that deals with what we're dealing with. I know we have certainly probably placed more young men and women in career positions in the fire service than any other program that I know of in South Carolina. So ours has been very successful. County Council has generated more jobs for fire service through that training program than a lot of the companies they bring in here for special tax considerations. The utility, the 560 account, that put that account back to where it's supposed to be. That's where we buy the larger priced equipment to keep up the rescue program. It was supposed to always have $40,000 in it. Finally got it back to what it's supposed to be. It was confused last year, and it was confused the year before last. So finally got that back the way it's supposed to be to help maintain the program. Utilities we don't have anything to do with, but they raise that a little bit just because they know there's increases coming. The iPads, 571 is a new line item for the fire commission budget. Y'all have never had telephones in this budget before, but that's for the iPads and the monthly service on those iPads. And Billy, I think you're starting to get ready to put those in the truck now. So, and you're working with the chiefs on that already. The vehicle maintenance, we got an extra 25,000 there, and we'll probably still be in the red by the time we get to the end of the budget year. Maintenance is a never-ending battle that we fight. Apparatus fuel, they added 10,000 there. Everybody knows fuel's up and down. Right now it's up because of what's going on in the world. Things can change in 2 weeks and it'll drop like a rock. So that's always a guess. We've done pretty good over the years, but went ahead and added an extra 10,000 in there just to be safe, or to at least try to be safe. General maintenance, we got an extra 10,000 this year for that. Contractual services, there's an extra 57,000 in there, and then 600. I think. Let me see here. What all went into that? That's the hose testing. $57,000, that's where it showed up at, it's in contractual services. They added that Monday night at third reading. Stacy had to argue, he got up there, he grabbed the chairman, put him in a headlock,
Yeah,
and they voted to do it, so,
I was even nervous.
yeah.
I do what I can.
He told y'all to keep up the fight right a while ago, he really meant that, but that's 57,000. MSA interdepartmental is IT's line item for our budget, which takes all the things that we buy and pay maintenance service agreements. If it's related to anything with IT, so that ended up, we had the previous year was what they had, and then there were some things that were added. So that ends up with a $12,647 increase in that line item. Insurance general, that's our Provident policy. They added 10,000 there. We've gotten the invoice, so we'll be fine with that amount this year in the budget. We'll be paying it right after the first of the year. That's our accidental death and our disability policy that we pay for the whole fire service that goes up. There is an increase in it because we've had quite a few increases in the career side of the fire service, particularly the Indian land, but also down here as well. Indian land.
Land of Indians.
Special project hazmat, got an extra 50,000 in it. That special projects, that 50,000 is for any renovations that have to do, or not utilities, but appliances that have to be done at the McDonald Green house when that begins to operate as 24/7. So that's what that 50,000 is for. Special promotions, we got no increase, but to be honest with you, everybody doesn't ask for their 2,000 for insurance. We got 17 stations, so that's how it comes up to 34,000. 17 departments, not more. We've got more than 17 stations, but we only do that department. The copier lease thing, they added back in to the budget again. They cut it on their own. IT decided what we need. That's their number. So that cut was something they recommended. So we're not going to pay any more than that for the copier. So hopefully they made the right choice. Matching funds stayed at 38,000. And then recruitment retention program, which is in the 144 budget, I put that in here so that y'all realize they did not cut it, nor do they add to it. We haven't asked them to add to it, but they don't cut it. They leave that where it's at. We don't generally spend all of that. We knew we wouldn't, and at this point, we sort of maintain at about 240 to 250 members. So the stipend is you never know exactly where it's going to be because it depends on participation through the year and training that the people have and the number of people that we have who are participating. But so far it's held steady along with the tuition that we've reimbursed for people. Fund 11 is the brush truck. The reason that's up, this is the year we replaced the truck that Billy drives. Yours is $550, right, Billy?
Yes.
So that replaces this year, so. That's the budget. Any questions, I'll try to answer. We will be implementing it after July 1.
Along with that, it's time to send the bid out. I actually needed to be sending it out already. I'm closing the list out, so if you want anything added to the list of stuff that's bid, I need that pretty quick.
Tell Bradley he better not come in here with 500 items.
Oh, we will.
Anybody else got any other questions on budget? Concerns? All right, move on to call tax.
The only question I have had to talk to Robert about this month was we've noticed that they're not dispatching an ambulance to structure fires right off the bat. Sometimes the instant commander gets there, says we got a working fire, police call EMS, and then they'll do it. I've asked Robert to go back and start doing it, particularly when it's as hot as it is, because we need EMS there quick to get them. The instant commanders in this county are really good about turning them around, telling them there's no working fire, and when they know that, they can turn them around.
Said they done that one right, so.
Okay, good. But anyway, that's the one thing I talked to him about. He said he would definitely take care of that for sure.
anything on the AFG grant?
Nothing to report. We are working on social grant in here for the county. It took us, we finally got access to the site today, I think it was. For some reason, they turned everybody off, and then people in the finance department, only 2 or 3 of them were available to be able to authorize us. And so it took a while to figure out who could authorize us. So.
Alright. Need approval of fire commission alternates.
Mr. Chairman, you got the list. Somewhere. It on the table?
No, I don't see it.
Oh, it's on the sign-in sheet.
Alright, so, I reckon I'll just go with me, Philip Eagle. Is it?
We don't need to do them, just do them all at once, but you just need to say who's for what station.
Okay. Philip Eagle for McDonald Green. Fred, you have an alternate for y'all station?
Sam Plowman.
Sam. Antioch, you got Jerry Taylor as an alternate. Jerry Terry. Terry. Jamie Gaynor on Station 2, you got Timmy Baker. Station 3, you have Perry Clinton. 4, you have Brandon Roberts. Station 5, you have Justin as alternate and Mark as commissioner.
Didn't have that square, I didn't see you sneak in on it. You didn't stand up while I was You didn't stand up and swear while I was
Everybody use that word swear.
Alright, moving right on to Elgin, Billy Rawson, you got Brooks.
Yes, sir.
Brooks Hollenberry. Station 7, Ken Sims.
Yes, sir.
Nobody from 8. Nobody from there. Greg. Anybody? You got alternate?
Well,
You say 4?
full, yeah.
L-U-L-K.
That's weird.
Tracy Davis.
Tracy Davis. Alright, Station 15.
Dude, Stacy.
You can't get away from it, could you?
We're so close. We'll go right back in.
Alright, Riverside. You have Brian Stoner as the alternate. You got me, Jason Lee.
Mark, okay.
They did have some listed on.
Yeah, they did down here, not up. Justin McClellan,
David Melton.
and I skipped Station 19. Sorry about that. You got David Mahaffey. Alright, and the rest of them. Alright, can we get a motion to accept those?
Make a motion.
All in favor?
Pick one of the others for a second,
James.
and then, Ron.
Yeah, Ron.
So, they were all first, and we'll take that for a second.
Alright, good. Alright, miscellaneous items, grant updates?
Nothing to report other than we are trying to apply for a safety grant.
Alright, training report?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, members commission, look in your packet. I go down the list. July to December classes are in your packet. The auto application, the 1st of August, is not on the portal yet. They're having trouble with the trailers at the fire academy, so should go online tonight or tomorrow. I talked to JD earlier today, so that should go online tonight. Just make sure that everybody that got out of firefighter 1, they're going into firefighter 2, they take that is prerequisite for fire 2. So, also the 3310 class in October, make sure they sign up for 3309. That is a prerequisite for that as well. So, signing up like you've been doing, doing good with that. Enyland and, we had a in-house, EVDT in the county as well. And we got some other people that missed the last Class E licensing. So at the end of July, somewhere around July 15th timeframe, we're gonna have a Class E licensing here in the county. Also, we're gonna have one in September after the August class as well. Turn your attention to, there's a flyer in your packet as well. Make sure you take this back to your members and they understand that after September 1st, they're changing up EVDT. So you take EVDT or any of the driver operator courses, first you will get they will be ISAC courses from now on. So you don't have to take the class, then take another test later on. So after you take the EVDT, once you either turn in an over-the-road course or you get your Class E license, within 18 months you will get your ISAC certificate for that. All right. So those are changing, but please notice that the August class is 1210. That is staying the same because it's not September yet. So August will still be 1210. After September 1st, it'll be 1270, 1271, 1272, and then aerial ops down at the bottom, 1275. So hang this up, talk about this with your members, so that way everybody's got an understanding about the classes for that coming up. Sam's in Atlanta right now for the Nationals. They'll find out tomorrow night about 6:30 how Caleb did, so we'll find out about that. But starting in the fall, that's going to be a year-long program. So what that means is, instead of having one block for 2 semesters, come back your senior year, 1 block, 2 semesters, it's going to be 2 blocks, 1 semester, 1 year. So it's going to be double blocks. They come in at 9 o'clock in the morning, they'll stay till 11:45, and get a whole lot in at one time. So they made him double block. So the juniors that happened this year, that are in this year's class, they're going to come back in January. The rising seniors or class coming up, juniors or seniors coming up, they're going to start in August and then go through the year. So the ones that did not graduate last year, the juniors coming up, they'll start in January for that time frame. Take a look at it in your packet as well as a calendar for classes coming up, just so you members know dates and times of classes. But also in there is 1 time a month we're going to be hosting a rescue jack training, and I tried to do it. We talked at the training officers meeting about doing it by sections of the county. So take a look at that. August will be the west side of the county, 2, 6, 8, 12. September will be 1, 3, 4, and 18. October will be 7, 9, 11, and 15. But I'm probably going to have to do that in 2 nights just because Kershaw has 32 members. So probably what we'll do is we'll do 9 and 11 and 7 and 15. So that way we're not, won't be too many people there in one night. Then November will be the north side of the county as well. So that's in your packet as well. Active shooters, July 22nd, 21st at Irwin Elementary School. If you're coming, please let us know. County registration form as well. That's rescue jack training is in there. Airbag training, we can't train with something that's not here yet. So once we get the airbags, at training officers meeting, we'll be coming up with a scheduled time frame for the airbag training. Honestly, probably we're gonna push that into the spring for that as well. Social media is still the same as it always been. Last few things is IST ideas. So talking with your training officers, just what will get people to your fire department meetings. So we've talked a lot about it. A lot of it's been too much PowerPoint and not enough skills. So we're looking at mixing up a little bit, doing less PowerPoint, more skill, and also just ideas. We've come up with ideas like road training as well as EV batteries and so forth. So come up, talk with your members about just IST hours and what you would like to have And lastly, Mr. Chairman, at the July meeting, I just need the one-page summary sheet of training that y'all done so far, and we do this that way. Just make sure everybody's records are up to date and not get too far behind. So I just need at the July County Officers meeting, the one-page summary sheet for January to June. Any questions?
We did mention that the senior comes in, they can get the whole class because in the past, most times they come in, so.
Alright, anybody got anything for training? You wanna add? Alright, moving on to maintenance report.
Mr. Chairman, Mayor's Commission, we have, several trucks down right now. 1501 is down for foam leak. The foam pump was rebuilt after the windshield was replaced. We're trying to do a couple things at the same process. It's put back in, which is a feat on its own, rebuilding it and putting it back in, it's ready to wait on parts, and it's still leaking. So we have, 4 check valves that didn't get replaced come in this week, so hopefully they'll get replaced next week. We'll get that truck back in service. 1001 has been through 3 ECMs. First ECM was sent off for repair. It was unrepairable. Second one come back, throw the code, and the third one come back, throw the same code. So in the process of elimination, and after we done checked everything else, the only thing it could be is internals inside of the turbo. We changed speed sensor before changing the turbo. That make a difference, so we changed the turbo. Problem was resolved, but now if you're driving down the road, the check engine light will fade in and out. So I think we got a resistor that's in line somewhere that's malfunctioning. So we're trying to fix an electrical issue and we can get that truck back in service. We have several trucks that need tires changed, but in the transition process, thanks to the shop, stuff is not in the same shop right now, right, Josh? Yeah. So they're transitioning the heavy equipment stuff to the Burns building on 521, and once that's complete, unless we have a complete failure, we'll get them tires changed at that time. Hopefully it'll be soon. Right.
Hopefully next week's process.
So, we'll go from there on that. Any further questions? There's a lot of stuff going on right now, and of course, we're at the end of the budget. And we did go over, you see the detailed count inquiry in a minute. It's not that amount, I promise you. It's that much in the negative. And that's using Inland's maintenance money too. So.
Alright. Thank you, Bill.
And also, Anthony White will be coming back to work with us starting Monday. So he'll be the third maintenance guy. This time, he's not a firefighter maintenance, he's a maintenance firefighter. So maintenance is his primary, and firefighting, when we have the right kind of call, he'll break loose and go with that. So.
Alright, thank you. Moving on to budget detail.
Mr. Chairman, it's in here. This, remember, is as of, it says the end of June, but it's really not. I pulled this off last week, but the expenditures on it are roughly 30 days behind when y'all see that. So you can see we did, everything is pulled down, particularly on fire commission budget, and it's really pulled down on some of the 144 career budget. But Bill is right. There's a few things that there will be a percentage left in here. Special promotions, I can't do anything about that anymore. I mean, we've already been cut off on doing that kind of thing. But I don't think all of the money was left in there, but there is still a considerable sum of money left in there that people didn't ask for. But unless there's a question, that's self-explanatory.
Alright, any discussion on the budget? Do you know anything, have you heard anything on the truck purchases or anything?
They talking about them. That's one of the things they're gonna try to figure out this fall, and looking for the funding to maintain the recurring costs. They're also gonna be looking at the funding for capital. They are discussing whether or not to do a countywide fire district or a fire district with 3 different areas, meaning, Indian Land is one that's already established, Van Wyck is one that's already established, and the rest of the county would be another one. The municipalities would have to decide whether they want to be part of that or not. They can opt out, or they can opt in. They don't have to opt out. They're out unless they opt in. That's a contract between the municipalities and the county council. They've had discussions all the way around the clock. I don't know which way they're leaning. I can't tell. So that's part of the discussion they wanna have during the fall of the year. So I feel sure they're gonna be working on it hard. The administrator is looking at several different types of options. It may be that he's figured out a way to recommend they buy about, how many trucks is on $17 million list? Do you remember?
There's one per day,
Okay,
17.
well, he had come up with that one list with what, 9, and then we prioritized that 9 from here. He's looking at maybe trying to do that almost immediately, and then try to get the rest of it as they figure the funding. You know, you order a truck, it's 4 years before you get it, 3 to 4 years before you get it. There's a number of different financing options that they can take part in. So I don't know where that's gonna end, or how it's gonna go, but they know it, and it's on their mind, and when they talk to me individually, they tell me that, and of course, I always tell them, we need trucks. Every month we go, we're getting that much further behind, because we're still looking at 3 years, probably or more, to put a truck in that place. So, they're aware of it, but until they take the vote and say do it, we're where we are.
We skipped the whole cycle.
We will basically have skipped an entire cycle, yes. We'll be back like we were in the 2007 cycle, because we were right at almost 10 years before we got the 16s ordered, so.
Any other grants or anything that we can possibly?
Anybody should apply for a firefighter assistance grant, but the problem is that our trucks are nice trucks. We got a time frame we're trying to spend them out in, but the firefighter assistance grant program is not gonna see us as a needy county. I mean, we can do it. Of course, y'all about the only one still with a number that will allow you to apply. All the other departments have allowed everything to expire, their DUNS numbers, their SAMS.govs. Most of them don't file a federal return within a 3-year period at least, so even their FEINs are no good. You'd have to go back and reapply for those, so it'd be difficult to go and try to apply for it.
Anybody got anything else? I appreciate everybody voting me in for the chair position. I hope that I can serve you well. I appreciate Justin being the vice chair as well, and Fred coming in as secretary. We got any station announcements? All right.
Let's do it, Jeremy.